Welcome, horror fam, to HHN365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. On today's show, we are going to be discussing and previewing Helping Haunts, which is a collaboration show that we did with a lot of the members of the HHN podcasting community. And then after, we're going to be back discussing some rumors and discussion of about HHN and 30 and how that might look in a post-COVID world. But before we get to that, let's. You
want to do that again?
Yeah,
you were doing really fine.
I'll start at before we get to that.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, all right. Let me cut Duff in for him. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Before we get to that, let me introduce our hosts team. We have my co-host Duff.
Hey guys.
And we have our producer Nico.
My phone is telling me to say hello.
I'm glad your phone told you to say hello and not something else. And as always, my name is Mike. All right, let's get right into it. Duff, go a little bit into Helping Haunts for those who don't know about it.
So if you follow us on social media, you know we're pretty vocal about supporting Black Lives Matter. And we did want to be a part of something to help. And luckily enough, we had Hunter, who you may know as the host of Catacombs and also part of the Grim Grinning host team, kind of put something together, a nice crossover episode. And we're doing it for charity, where all of the proceeds go to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. So as I said, Catacombs, Grim Grinning hosts, the RIP tour, and us here at HHN365 made an episode about our favorite memories of Halloween Horror Nights. It's going to be just $1 to get access to listen to it. There's also going to be raffles if you donate more, which we'll get into in a moment. But this episode will always be behind that $1 paywall. So if you want to hear this awesome crossover, you have to front the $1. And I promise you it was worth it. It was a lot of fun to record. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we are very pleased and appreciative to be a part of that project.
Absolutely. For an amazing cause, and we're so humbled to be a part of it. Also, if you donate more than $5, for every $5, you will be entered into a raffle, and there's a lot of great prizes that Hunter gathered from the whole HHN community. We have John Massari involved. He signed a bunch of Killer Clown items. James Keaton signed a bunch of HHN25 maps. Haunt Vault put in some items. Obviously, Wendy Guts did some art. There are all sorts of great things that are going to be part of the prizes.
Yep. And then I believe each of the podcasts involved offers the opportunity for the winner of the raffle to be a guest on the show. So if you win, you could be a guest on 4 different podcasts in HHN community.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then we should also probably tell them where to go donate this money if they'd like to listen to the episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just go to Neozaz, that's neozaz.com/helping-haunts. That's neozaz.com/helping-haunts. And then it'll give you the option to donate the $1 to listen to the episode, the $5 to enter in the raffle, and then an option to enter however much you'd like, so you can get multiple entries into that raffle.
Absolutely. And there'll be a link to it on our Twitter as well. So
absolutely.
If you don't feel like typing that all in, you can find it right there on our Twitter and in the episode notes.
Right. So now we're going to give you about a 10-minute preview of kind of what that episode looks like. Please donate the $1 and listen to the whole show. It's going to a great cause. And we'll be back after that preview.
All right. So, Mike, go ahead and to bring it home for HHN 365, tell me about your special moment, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have 2. I couldn't just settle on one. So the first one that comes into mind for me is going to be my first night at HHN 21. It was my second year. HHN 20 is kind of what hooked me, and then HHN 21 is really what made me fall in love. And I couldn't pick just one specific moment from the night. It was honestly just the whole entire night. It was the first time I got to see the Bill and Ted show. I fell in love with that. It was the first time I went through my favorite house ever, and that is Saws and Steam. And when I went through that house, that's when I kind of realized that I wasn't in Kansas anymore or Salt Lake City, Utah anymore. It was I was in something that was totally different, and I was been hooked basically ever since. It was my first time that I got to try one of the blood bags from the Blood Bag Girls, and I kind of got to turn up and get drunk and just have an amazing time. And then my second time that kind of I realized that this is something that I wanted to talk about and talk with others about was HHN29. I had a little bit of a hiatus where I didn't get to go to the event because I was starting a family and I had a daughter. But it was my first. I got to come back to the event in HHN29, and it was honestly going through graveyard games for the first time, and I got to do a couple of other houses that night. And after going through that house, I just remember texting Duff and talking to Duff just basically for a whole week until I could go back to the event. We were just talking about the houses nonstop, and we were texting and talking, and then it came to us, why don't we just start recording these conversations and involving other people? And that's honestly how we started podcasting about it, was just how much we loved graveyard games and the other houses of the event. And then I got to see some of the others, and because I kind of did HHN 29 piecemeal, where I got to get off work and go as often as I could, and just do a couple of houses until I got to see it all 4 or 5, 6 times.
That's awesome. So throughout your time going, obviously you've compiled a small list of favorites. You mentioned Saws and Steam. Is Saws and Steam still like all-timer for you?
Yeah, I honestly don't know quite why. I think it just kind of it is though, and I think it's just because it was just so scary and gory, and the story, I love the story that they came together. It just kind of all came together, and this is what an HHN house can be. And then also, Nightingale's Blood Prey that year as well was that same way. And it was, but yes, it was an amazing year.
We talk about Saws and Steam a lot. Actually, on our last episode, we did basically kind of a themed episode where fear resurrected and brought back horrors of the past to just bring back some all-star houses, and nobody remembered them. So we voted for the ones we felt needed to come back, and Saws and Steam was one of the 10 that had to come back because
absolutely.
Our good friend Quint, good friend and co-host, that was his come to Jesus moment, was with Saws and Steam. And, we're joking around about bingo. It's not a Catacombs episode without him bringing up Saws and Steam.
True. Same with HHN 365. I bring it up as often as I can.
I love it. Yeah, I feel like 21 is the year where I most wish I could go back. It's between that one and 23 that if I had a choice to visit, I just love the whole theming of 21. And not only do you have that great original lineup featuring Saws and Steam, of course, but I really actually just adore the backstories that they did for the houses. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but the fact that they found a way to incorporate Lady Luck into each one of them in what I consider a pretty interesting way makes that a super special year for me.
Absolutely.
What hurts me about 21 is that unless you know all, I shouldn't say this is a broad generalization, but unless you know all that, the biggest complaint and panning 21 gets is just Lady Luck in general. And it's that is the last thing to judge that year on, because everything else about it was so stellar.
Right.
I think I've seen some people say that Lady Luck would be remembered better if she had a house. And to be honest, the fact that we didn't get a Lady Luck casino house is kind of a bummer. But, with HHN30, there's a rumor that we're getting kind of an Icon's house. And if Lady Luck's in it, maybe we get this huge roulette room from the commercials and everything. That'd be awesome.
So they definitely haven't swept her under the rug, because in that Icon scare zone in 25, there was the demon version and the regular version, both armed with chainsaws at various times. So they're not sweeping her under the rug. So if there is an Icon's house, I would certainly hope there's a presence of her there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
She's much cooler than the storyteller, right? That's my hot take.
Well, yeah.
Whoa, now hold on. You're fighting words there.
Everyone knows the ranking goes Fear, featuring shower curtains.
Oh my
And
god.
then, hey guys, I'm just coming in. Yeah.
Funny you should mention rankings. We actually just recorded a podcast where we ranked the icons.
Oh,
Should be
that's
should be
awesome.
released any second.
I cannot wait to argue with that episode as I am driving to work.
Oh yeah.
You might not like some of it. I don't think Mike likes some of it, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lady Luck,
Yeah, I wanted Lady Luck much higher, but
Did Nico vote as well?
Yeah.
a
well, he
little bit.
he likes Caretaker. That's about all.
I like Caretaker just because of the Travel Channel special.
Yeah, I get it. He's awesome. Was it you, Duff, who brought up the Eeny Meeny Miny Mo commercial earlier?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, I think that's also Matt's favorite commercial, if I remember correctly.
It's one of them. Yeah, that was one that gave me a little bit of a chill the first time I saw it.
It's great.
Welcome back, horror fam. I hope you liked the preview of the Helping Haunts. Once again, please donate the $1. It's for a great cause. If you would like to donate more, obviously, you'll be eligible for the prize pack that we discussed. All right, let's hop right into the news and rumors. What should we do first, Duff? News?
Yeah, I mean, we only have one bit of actual news that we actually just got today as well.
Ooh,
So
right
might
off
as
the
well
press.
talk about that.
Let's do it. So this is actually future us. We are going to splice this in real quick. That we are about to release the episode, and there was a bunch of rumors breaking on the forums. Duff, how about you go over those rumors?
Yeah, so, we like to talk about the things the insiders, such as Legacy, say over at the Inside Universal forums. He dropped a few kind of, this is how it's going to be things yesterday and today. And we thought we'd put them in, since that's what this whole episode was about.
Yeah.
So the first one that we'll talk about is there will be an anniversary house, and that will be located in Men in Black Tent.
Nice. Okay. I can see it working there.
Yeah, so I don't think it's too much of a surprise to get a 30th anniversary house. I think we thought some of the ones that were on all the speculation maps would turn out to be the anniversary house.
Right, right.
But now they're coming out and saying, insiders are saying, definitely will be, and it's going to be in the Men in Black tent. So, exciting stuff there.
Cool.
Also
Is that-
confirmed. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, is that like a good tent? Like tent size? Is that like a good one to have?
Smaller
it's
on the small end.
Yeah, it's smaller. But
Okay.
if you look back like last year, House of 1,000 Corpses, they definitely showed they can do some good sets in that location.
Mhm.
So I think it'll work out.
Yeah, should be cool.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
And it's a nice location too.
Yeah, I do. I actually love that. Right in the back of the park. And it's great for my Duff Gardens staying screaming to get to.
Oh, absolutely. That would be great.
Unless what we're going to talk about later in the
Yeah,
episode happens.
yeah.
That's a little tease.
Another thing, we had the secret IP on the last Horror Night Nightmares map, and they are saying that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which
Yeah, I believe I floated that around a little bit
Yeah.
here or there.
it's been talked about a bit. I think all the like classic slasher style movies get thrown out there. Halloween, Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface, and that's what we're gonna get this year, according to that rumor.
Do you want to say what was going to be? Rumors had something fell out.
Yeah. So Legacy stated this one, and that's that what was originally going to be put where the secret IP was on the speculation map was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh man.
that would have been amazing.
So May leaving it as secret IP was the right choice then.
Yeah. You know what? They should have kept the Silence of the Lambs because it'd been like instead of like getting hand sanitizer before you go in, they would like give you like sanitized lotion before you go into the house. So
Put the lotion on its skin.
Yeah, it would be a
Or you'll
good.
get
It would be,
COVID-19 again.
see that perfect. It would be perfect for that to set up, but maybe that'd be a little too on the nose.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, he confirmed Beetlejuice will have a house, and that will be located.
Hell yeah!
And that'll be located in a location that everyone has seen a picture of recently. That was 3 branches outside of it, and that would be the Parade Warehouse, the old one, if you were wondering, B79. And I think that house location has a lot of good hits, especially recently. So Beetlejuice has a lot to fill in for, or live up to, I guess.
Have big IP houses been in that house in the past?
Big, like we've had Trick or Treat, Ash vs Evil Dead, Halloween was there.
Okay, so
I
like,
guess, you could say big.
Yeah.
okay, so it is common to have that. I'm like I said, I'm just basing my experience on last year, so it's.
Yeah, no, it's not uncommon. It's considered one of the I mean, I don't know if they would. I look at it as one of the like marquee locations for Horror Night houses.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Another thing that was stated was that the theme of the year would be retro. When it was brought up, oh no, we're getting 80s again. He said, nope, I didn't say 80s. And then it was kind of led on that it would be more like a 90s thing to kind of go back to the early years of HHN.
Am I gonna have to break up my Jenko jeans?
Please don't. Do you still have them? Do they still exist? Are they in a drawer somewhere?
I think he might still have them.
My parents, I think, still have them. So
okay.
I don't have them.
I've seen you. I haven't never seen you wear them, but I have seen them before.
Those weren't my Jenkos.
Oh, those weren't your Jenko? Oh, okay.
No. I did definitely had Jenko jeans. I did.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
I was 10 years old and I had Jenkos.
Do you think they'll play any like Nickelodeon tie-ins with this night thing?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Probably
Like,
not.
Are You Afraid of the Dark or something along the lines of that?
Yeah, no,
Okay,
probably
so
not.
that's just me with wishful thinking. Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
All right. Is that all the rumors?
Yeah, that's all we
From
have to get
Future
caught
Us?
up on. Yeah, Future Us
Oh, yeah,
can step away
okay.
now.
All right, back to present us.
All right. So kind of big news. We already knew that HHN was planned to go on. Universal's completely intended on this event happening. No news there. What we have been waiting on is seeing auditions start, and they're starting to accept applications for current team members only for scare actor auditions.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Woohoo!
So again, we already knew it was happening, but it's exciting nonetheless to see the ball get rolling after such a delayed start to all this process.
It's a little later in the season, of course, but
Yep. I mean, there could be less scare actors depending on some of the rumors we're going to go over too. So
that is
we'll
true.
see how that works in.
Maybe one day I will discuss on the podcast my audition process for HHN24. I did not make it. It was the only time I auditioned. Have I ever discussed that on the show, guys?
I don't think so.
No, we've brought up that you have auditioned, but not how it went. And you know what, Mike? This is going to be a short episode. Let's just talk about it.
Sure. So, well, okay, I have to backtrack a little bit. So I did the Disney College program in 2011 and then again in 2012 with you guys, which is how we met. We worked at the Tower of Terror. And then spring 2013, I left and went back home, and I got to experience HHN 23 through basically a bunch of friends from Tower worked there, and I got to experience it through Facebook. And I really, really, really was missing Orlando and Halloween Horror Nights in general. And so I vowed that if I came back, I would be part of HHN, and I wanted to be a character. I've always wanted to work in a haunted house. I've been going to haunted houses since I was like 6. I remember making haunted houses in my my house and making my mom and the neighbor kids walk through them. So I've always been doing haunted houses. So I always wanted a part of them. So I decided I was going to audition. It is definitely so. I flew down and stayed in some sketchy hotel in the iDrive area, kind of like by Pirates Dinner Adventure. I stayed there for a couple of nights, hung out with you guys a couple of times, and I went to the audition, and I did not make it. But it was a neat experience, and I wanted to come back so bad that I decided to move back anyway and live with you guys.
Mhm.
And I applied at Universal. They were hiring event guides, so I actually worked at HHN24, just not as a character, as an event guide. And I moved down permanently to Florida from then, and now I've lived here and raising a family here, and the rest is history.
I remember that time well, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What a glorious summer that was.
So yeah, like if you listen to the Helping Haunts, I kind of talk about how I fell in love with HHN, but I didn't really talk about HHN24, which is the year that I loved it so much I kind of wanted to be part of it, and I was a part of it. But yeah, so yeah, that just shows how much I really do like being part of this event.
Awesome.
So where were we?
So that's all the news we had. Auditions, they're starting.
Yeah,
they're
just the
taking
auditions and
applications.
stuff.
So let's get into the rumors. Let's start with the one that'll be quicker to go over. And that's going to be Creep Show rumor.
Okay. So
I think
how did that start?
So we've heard whispers, I think just because it was in Hollywood last year. If you weren't aware, there was a house for Creep Show in Hollywood last year. Greg Nicotero, who is the man behind the current Creep Show TV series, in an interview specifically talking about Creep Show and Halloween Horror Nights, said, and I quote, "I'm excited about the fact that I think we're going to do it in Orlando this year, maybe." Huh?
Yeah, maybe.
So,
that sounds like some beans spilling right there.
You think he'd know for sure? Maybe.
Right?
Was he trying to catch him?
Pretty confident.
Did he like spill the beans and then added the maybe at the end as like?
When was this interview?
Maybe. It was pretty recent. It was posted on June 3rd.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe he was saying maybe because of the COVID thing.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe. True.
Maybe.
So there
maybe.
is a video of the interview. I have not listened to it. I have only read the transcript. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what came over
how
the
it
AP
came
wire.
But those were his exact words. And he definitely said that he thinks they're doing it in Orlando this year, maybe. So what do you think? Is it going to happen? Is he maybe just not as informed as you'd think the guy behind the whole series would be?
I don't know. I know the Creep Show rumors are really starting to build up until when the speculation maps dropped, and it was notably left off, and then the rumors really died down. So maybe the maps are just kind of wrong. Maybe it's the secret IP. I don't know. Would it be considered a secret IP in the way that the secret IP has been discussed?
I mean, we've been over the secret IP and how we could be misinterpreting how they mean it. Not necessarily that it's a huge thing. But I don't know. I don't know. I do have one thing to add though. And that's that one of the insiders on the forums, I don't remember which one it is, sorry, can't give credit here, did say don't expect it as a house. So if that's to be believed, that would not be the secret IP and it would be a scare zone maybe?
That's
the scare zone or show, and I just don't see how it works as a show. But yeah, probably a scare zone
if we even have a show.
We'll see how
I mean, we can. I mean, they'll probably be a lagoon show would probably work better. I'm just like saying for this year.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, theme parks are still doing shows. I know, notably, Gatorland is still doing the shows, and they're just seating every other row. So I know it's on a very small scale, but just saying that if you're going to look at how some of the other attractions in the area are utilizing sit-down theater shows, it's happening. So they could potentially. I still think there will be a show in that theater, but who knows?
I mean, if you're talking lagoon show, you could definitely social distance in that space anyways. So
Absolutely.
You just have little squares that each person stands in.
Just like the wheelchairs at Phantasmic.
Right.
Put the little square. Yep, you got to put it here and then put it here. That's some inside baseball from. That's some total inside baseball there.
Right. We also worked a Phantasmic when we worked.
That
at
is true.
Tower.
We've seen it every single night. I really like that show still. Never mind.
It used to be my favorite show.
Anyways, back to Horror Nights. So I don't know that any of us predicted this. Like you said, the rumors were growing, but in the end, Greg Nicotero has come out and said he's excited to work on Creepshow in Orlando this year. So I guess it sounds like it's happening.
That's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a scare zone. I don't know.
Historically,
well, inside, apparently.
If I had to put money on it, I would say it's a house. I mean, we see those IPs go in and out all the time, especially HHN30. Everything's kind of off. It could be a replacement for some IP that fell through, or they're going to save when they can do it better, when they don't have to do social distancing. We'll get into that in a little bit, but maybe there is one of these IPs that just really isn't going to work in what HHN30 is going to be, and they're going to save it for next year. And Creepshow works a little bit better, and they have filled that in. But who knows?
Either way, kind of exciting to hear something that's kind of concrete coming.
All right. So any other Creepshow news, or want to move on to the other big part of speculation?
Yeah. We'll jump into the main segment of our rumors here.
Take it, Duff.
Sure. So if you remember when Horror Night Nightmares dropped their speculation maps, there was also another pretty big theme park outlet who dropped some rumors of their own. That'd be Theme Park University. Well, now they're back with another Horror Nights article. And this is about the plans for controlling the crowds at HHN30. So obviously this is going to talk about how we talk about Horror Nights in a post-COVID world. And there's some interesting aspects of how they believe or have heard that things will go down for HHN30. I don't know about you guys. I don't love it all. I'd be happy to have Horror Nights in any capacity for the most part. But let's get into what they're talking about.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing from this article is that there will be an app that controls your day.
Right. And we kind of already knew that was probably in the cards. If you listen to some of our other COVID speculation, we had an idea that like virtual queuing is going to have to happen, and that's going to happen from some sort of app.
Yep, definitely. So that would obviously be involved. However, it wouldn't simply be virtual queuing where, you grab an attraction, it tells you a time to come back, and you do. This would actually be saying, this is the house you can go to, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it would actually be controlling your day rather than just assisting you to move throughout the park. Right. An interesting aspect of that is that it would be headlined by Jack, who would be in videos kind of just saying he's taking control of your experience at Halloween Horror Nights.
So
that aspect to me, I don't think is going to be implemented in time for them to actually have video playing. Doing that, being like, oh, where you're going to next is, I don't know how Jack sounds, so this is my Jack impression. Where you're going to next is going to be to the Billie Eilish house or something like that. I don't think it'll be like that, just because of that's going to cause a lot of strain on the server already to play video. So I don't know if that's going to happen. That's just me throwing in some my 2 cents there for that.
We'll talk about it a little more, but I will say that I don't completely believe all of this is going to happen. And I know there are some others who also don't think all of this is going to take place, but that they could be on the right track. But to actually go into detail about what they're saying would happen, basically start off the day, you'd buy your ticket, you'd link it to the app, and you'd select people in your party. After that, you'd get the welcome video from Jack. He basically explains what, and they quoted, New Year of Fear is all about. And he's telling you that he's going to control your day. Another quote they have in there is, you're going to be asked to choose your psychopath. and that's if you want to add express passes or not. It's very interesting that they're using these quotes. I wonder where they get them from.
Yeah,
is that
know.
actual things they were told?
Yeah,
like, this
as
is
he
what it's
goes
gonna
through
say?
and he puts that. Yeah, I mean that is similar to Josh's writing, where he'll like drop little hints in there like that. Josh Young, the guy who writes pretty much only for Theme Park University, that is in conjunction of his style of writing through there. Like he'll like leave little breadcrumbs here and there. So Scream name is the one that shows up the most in here, and that's obviously going to happen because that's just a double right there. You know, that's too good not to pass up for that.
Then there is another one I want to add in. There's going to be, you know how you would choose a username on an app? Well, you'll be choosing your Scream name.
Yes.
And then I'll give you more details from Jack on how express passes will work if you choose that option. So if you do choose express passes, it's going to be more like a virtual queue type situation, it sounds like, where it actually gives you the list of houses and you just get to select the times that you want to go. So a more fast pass, virtual queue style than the actual we are taking control of your night deal. So if you get express, it sounds like it'll be a bit more of a normal experience.
It also sounds like it's going to be a bit more expensive too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Since we're talking about express right now, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. So express is what? Usually $90, right? On non-peak nights.
Yeah, we'll say it averages around there. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so
about the price of a ticket usually.
Okay, so we'll
about
say same price as that. It's not going to be it's not going to be 2 figures. It's definitely going to be at least 3 figures.
Agreed. Absolutely.
For that to cover the cost of this and to make up their margin for there, and people wanting to pick where they want to go, and like I have to do these houses in this order. I don't want the app to tell me this is my one and only time to go to Horror Nights this year. So I'm going to make it a good one by having all that. Yeah, there's absolutely no way that it might even double in price, to be honest.
It's very possible, especially if they're going to limit capacity by quite a bit. They're going to want to make some money back, you know?
They haven't mentioned, there's no mention in here about, at least not that I see, of like the RIP tours or any of that. And who knows if that's actually going to happen? Because that was something I was thinking about before we started recording. Like, is a team member going to escort you around, or would that be a health hazard? I don't know. I mean, September's still a couple months away, but we are getting closer.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And COVID's not going away. We know that.
We don't know exactly what things will look like in 3 months. And we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. But we don't necessarily agree with a lot of things that are happening and the way they're starting up and the procedures being used. However, we are aware that theme parks are a business and want to make their money. So come September, they could definitely kind of be pretending that this isn't as serious as it actually is.
Right.
So how much they actually limit capacity, how much they enforce social distancing, who knows? Because
that's a lot of queuing. Like, there's no way. I mean,
speaking of RP tours, I don't personally think they would cut them. You're talking about one team member with a group of people where you could still keep the social distancing in your group, and then it's a lot of money, and people pay a good chunk of change for that.
Universal doesn't have a union, so they could be like, "Oh, well, we're following CDC guidelines. Then you can continue to do that." Yep. Hopefully, they will. I mean, if we're still wearing masks by then. Because of news about the virus changes every single day. I mean, if we're wearing masks by then, most likely you will definitely have to wear a mask your whole time.
I feel like
your tour guide.
A mask is like one of those base things that in 3 months will still have to be a thing, right? Like no matter how lenient they decide to get, a mask is like that base protection that at least for the rest of the year we should be wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so. I do worry that I think the enforcement of the mask is going to have to break eventually. They're going to get a lot of negative feedback from what I'm hearing. They're really enforcing it strong, and guests who don't necessarily want to wear masks or want to follow the rules are pushing the boundaries as from what I'm hearing, and it's going to eventually cause a strain that I hope is not the case, but I worry that Universal will start to basically scale back how much they're enforcing the mask and encouraging it, not enforcing it.
I could definitely see that happening. I hope they have a backbone and say, if you refuse to wear a mask, you can get the fuck out of the park. You're not welcome here. Sorry. These are the rules. This is how it's going to work until it's safe to do otherwise. Do I think that's how they're going to handle it? Absolutely not. Are they going to kick customers or guests out one by one? Because there's going to be a lot of people who don't comply, especially
it's already happening from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and that's just from the start. Imagine once people are really sick of it months later. I mean, that's going to be a lot of people. I think they'd have to end up honestly removing from the park, especially anyone who's inebriated would definitely put up more of a fight about that. Again, I think they should stand by their guns and kick people out if they aren't obeying the rules, just like any other rule in the park should be.
Right.
Like you said, though, I don't know if they're going to do that. I think the enforcement will get a little more lax, and they'll try to be more understanding, I guess we'll call it, of guests' complaints.
Encouraging mask use and not necessarily enforcing mask use. I have a feeling that it will start to go that way.
Which would be very unfortunate, as I would not be happy as someone who frequents HHN a lot.
Right.
But anyways, let's carry on with some of the things that TPU was talking about. Another fun quote they have in is that this is tentatively, they didn't call it definite, but if you choose not to use an express pass, Jack would come on and basically tell you he is going to control your night. You're going to be called
peasant.
Well, you'll be called Jack's Maniacs.
I know.
Okay.
So basically, it would give you that option of houses and shows, but instead of actually choosing times, this would be more of a wish list, they say. So saying, this is what I definitely want to be able to do today. So then it would try to obviously put that into the system and work around, get you to your most wanted attractions of the night. Because chances are you're not hitting all 10 houses and all the shows if this is going to be the system.
Right.
So you'll not be actually shown a full itinerary. Basically, it's going to use your preferences. And after doing a house, it's going to look at different flows of traffic, different wait times for houses, and try to send you to an appropriate place to keep social distancing.
It's time to experience the scare zone. For the third time? Yes. We're
So
going
basically-
back to the Beetlejuice house again? Yes.
Oh, So basically, the way they'd be doing this is cutting the parks into different zones. There's not too much detail on exactly how that would work. Whether that means you're going to be stuck in that zone for a while, like you're going to do the scare zone, you're going to do the houses in that zone, or if they're going to kind of send you around more frequently, updating traffic flow.
Right.
I
mean, should we start openly discussing it at this point? Is that
that's kind of what he left it open to now.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much.
you don't have to
There's not much else
explain
about it. The only other thing I'll add, basically what finishes it, they're basically going to scan your app once you get up to the queue, and that's how the app will know you're doing it and regenerate and give you your next suggestion or demand, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's go ahead and start off with someone who has a positive opinion about this. I think this is actually a really cool idea and a really good way to have this happen.
I agree.
I think it's going to be really cool, and it's going to be, I know it's going to be more of a curated experience, and I really, this also shows that most likely there will be a frequent fear pass of some
Does
sort.
it? I think I think this says the opposite, to be honest.
The reason I say it's pointing towards a frequent fear pass, because they definitely want, I don't think you're going to be able to do every house every night.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Not without Express.
So with that, I think Universal will want to have a frequent fear pass, which I also think will be more expensive this year. Again, with that, I think almost any ticket for Horror Nights this year is going to be more expensive. I don't know about that. I know everyone keeps referring to the British website that sells tickets, but that's not Universal. We have to remember selling those tickets. That's basically
Selling IOU express
who is
passes.
it? Yeah, it's like Virgin or something that's like taking that and just selling packages, and then they give the money to Universal, and then like, okay, here's your cut.
Right, and they could easily say, oh wait, this is not a ticket option that they're offering. Here's your money back. So they're selling them as if they're going to happen, but they don't know if they are going to happen.
Because British people like to plan way in advance for this stuff.
Right.
That's just how that industry works. Like I said, everything here points to where we should be getting a frequent fear pass. Once again, I mean, I see that here. I think this is a great way to spread people throughout the park. The only thing where I think it gets into issues, what I was saying earlier, it's like, it's time for you to experience the scare zone again. I think scare zones will be open for here, but houses will definitely be that. And it'll be like, if you want to see a show, you can go at this time or something like this. Or if you want to see this show, let me know. And then like, it'll try to choose what you want around there.
Right.
This gets me really excited to see this, especially if it works. Because I know some people are having issues with the virtual line aspect at Universal right now, especially for their high demand attractions there. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Universal outsources their app support like a certain company down I-4 does. With their app in a lot of cases. But no, I think this is a really good idea. It's a great way to spread them out throughout the park, and it's a good way for Universal to keep control and also able to rotate cast in and out through the buildings as well, because maybe they can halt people from going in for a certain time and then do like character change there, or get the people who are in the house out and rotate it out in a safe manner, or even do a quick cleaning of the house, which is basically you run through with a can of like Febreze and as you just run down the whole house.
Yeah, I think this is honestly a good idea too to way to combat COVID and still have the event. Obviously, it's not the way that we like to experience HHN. We like the being able to go night to night to night. But for those who only have 1 or 2 nights to go, and you're trying to get as much in as possible, I think this is a decent way of making sure that everyone gets in as much as they possibly can. I don't agree with you, Nico, that this is definitely going to make the frequent fear pass. I think what this is more likely to do is it's going to basically have Universal start really pushing that buy one get a second night free ticket, and basically making this a 2-night experience. Because I feel like if you could probably do this curated over the 2 nights. So if you linked both nights together, they could probably try to make sure that you experienced all 10 houses and both shows over the course of 2 nights if you link your days together. I think they're really going to probably see Universal really pushing that buy one day, get a second day free ticket, so you can kind of have over that course of time try to experience it all. But what that would mean is I really don't see how they could offer a frequent fear to locals. But who knows? One thing that they discuss in here of this article is that it is going to mean really limited capacity. I think they said something to like half capacity that they're speculating. And one also thing that we didn't discuss is that they're speculating that it's really going to limit how many actual characters are. They're really going to scale back the hiring of characters and really start going into some special effects that they can be used in this year as well as future years. So they're really investing into special effects, according to this article.
Yep. And to get into my thoughts, I have stated that I don't love these, and I will preface that by saying it's for selfish reasons. That's for my personal experience. Let's say Frequent Fear Pass does exist. That's not how I want to go experience the park every night. I go almost every single night during horror nights, and having to get curated like that every single night I'm there would be a massive pain in the ass for me.
Right.
Looking at it just from an ops standpoint and how you can handle this situation, it seems like a pretty good idea. I do have the worries that the app would not be working as it should, because the Universal app has never worked. Let's be honest. It can't handle fucking trivia. So Nico, I know you've talked about this being possibly a brand new app, not even connected to the Universal app.
Yeah, from the ground up.
Does that give me any faith that it would work well, though? Absolutely not.
Yeah, they're going to need to spend a lot of money hiring some sort of outside gun to develop an app like this. They're going to have to invest probably millions of dollars on this app.
And that's one reason I think the whole curated experience for the app, I'm leaning towards not happening, because that's a lot of money to invest in something that might work and might really not work well.
Right.
You know, like even you invest all that money into it, everything looks good during testing, you roll it out and it's not so great. You just wasted a shit ton of money for terrible experiences for your guest.
Okay, but the thing is, this is probably also an investment similar to what Disney announced they said they were going to have being rolled out, called Genie, which is basically a day planner for there, which it would like select your fast passes, and it would also help you make dining reservations and stuff, and it would help you plan your there. I think this is going to be a larger investment that we see, and we'll probably see technology like this appear at Epic Universe and in the parks for here on out. We might even see a tiered version of like ticketing and stuff like this. Like this definitely allows for a tiered version of how to experience the parks. Like, you want to, for a slightly cheaper ticket, you can use this, and then boom, you get 3 rides that you start off with. After you're done with these attractions, then you can do these attractions. After you're done with these, you can do these. And then the next tier would be like, you can also use the app, and you can also choose what you want to do. That's something I kind of see. I definitely like Universal and Disney, like pretty much a lot of people want to go to a tier system when it comes to ticketing now, because they feel like that's going to be the best way to make more money. They'll be able to get more people. They'll be able to squeeze more people in, and they'll be able to reduce lines by having this. So I think any money that they put into this app is not going to be wasted. It may not work this year, but this is definitely an investment for the future of Universal Parks.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that potentially, if this is what they're even doing. Do we know that Universal had plans to do that?
It doesn't surprise me with what they want to do. I mean, this is also the same company where we're trying to get face scanning technology available, so where you don't even have to present a ticket, it'll just be you linked to your app.
Yep.
We'll see if that actually happens, according to some inside sources that we have with this. At least when the park opens. Hopefully, maybe because the park's been delayed now, they might be able to get all those kinks worked out for there. But I really see that any investment into this app is going to be utilized in the future. And if this works and it works out well, then I would be more than happy to have it like here, because I think it's kind of fun to have a curated experience. You know, we are offered way too much choice nowadays.
I like it as an option. I think it's a cool option. But as a local, I do not want to, I don't want that every time, obviously. I want to go to walk into the park, have freedom. Do you want to go to the parks twice a week and have them plan everything for you each time? Or do you want to be able to freely just walk in? Like, I never go to the theme park with a plan unless there's like, something's opening or closing and, I have to hit this. Otherwise, I just walk in and go with the flow. What has a short wait? I'm hungry. What do I feel like? Let me grab a drink here. There's a short line. I personally, as a local who goes to the parks a lot, I never want to have a curated experience unless I have like family in town and we're going all day for multiple days. Then yeah, sure,
That's fair.
fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
As someone who's planning a vacation, that probably takes a lot of the weight off your shoulders and makes it a lot easier compared to like the way Fast Pass Plus works. 60 days out, you're like waking up early in the morning to get those fast passes you want, and then not getting them and not getting your dining reservations. So something like this definitely would help.
What I really hope is that if they're still going to do the 2-for-1 tickets, where the 2-night tickets, is that the app will be smart enough to remember what you didn't do the night before and try to prioritize you to get to those houses. Because let's face it, I was extremely lucky to do every single house in one night. For my one night I went last year.
You guys killed it. You knocked it out.
Yeah, we did this really well. Is Stay and Scream going to be a thing?
Let's talk about that now, because that's a big talking point.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nico?
It's hard to figure out. It's definitely not going to be how it was last year.
No. But I would say if you have virtual queues, there's no need for it to be how it was, say, at Finnegan's.
Exactly.
You don't need those massive corrals of people waiting for Stranger Things and Ghostbusters if everyone has that virtual queue time waiting,
Mm-hmm.
Why does
corrals
everyone
are
need
more
to
an operational, not to cut you off, the corrals are more operational to make sure that those who don't have a ticket have left the park, though.
Well,
I think they will have to corral people to at least sections of the park.
I don't mean like that. I mean, do you remember at Finnegan's last year, they had the separate corrals, which were strictly the lines inside of the zone. Yeah, you don't need those. Obviously,
those are newer.
You need to be contained in the area. But remember, they've opened up like basically all of New York now. There's a lot of space. You can still social distance. Duff Gardens, there's plenty of space where you can social distance.
I could see also phase closing some of the San Francisco area, like right up until you get to King's Cross Station. Like having that area open, because I don't think Universal would have a problem with closing Fast and Furious early during this time of the year.
No. And like they could add more space. Exactly. They can make it a lot easier for them to social distance. Just add larger spaces for your Stay and Screams. Another way I look at that is, do they really want to kick everyone out of the park just to take everyone back in? Because the lines are already crazy to get in. Can you imagine the extra several thousand people who are usually at Stay and Scream adding into that line?
Right.
That'd be insane.
That's why I still think Stay and Scream will happen. It's just going to be, it's completely different from what we see now.
Well, they aren't going to have you. I mean, to be fair, what you saw last year, you don't know about the years before. I know, like the Ghostbusters Stranger Things situation, that's new. They've never had the lines quite like that inside of the Stay and Scream areas. Stay and Scream has always just been kind of everyone's chilling and they're like, all right, we're open, and everyone just leaves.
Right.
Okay. So what I saw last year is not the norm.
No, it is not.
Okay.
They did it because the popularity of those two houses. As you saw, those two corrals got packed too. Absolutely packed. So I guess it was kind of necessary, but that is not typically how they do Stay and Scream.
Yeah, they usually just kind of open up the gates and kind of just let you go your way.
Yep.
Yee-hoo!
Like if you do it over at Duff Gardens, which becomes all of Springfield, USA, after they get everyone out, all the day guests out. Usually people don't even know when it's about to open. Like you just turn your back and suddenly everyone's walking out. You're like, oh, all right, here we go. No one's bunching up.
So I thought of two things. One, are they going to force you to do rides? So even if you put all the rides at the bottom, are they going to be like, well, your top ride, even though all the rides were at the bottom, your top ride was MIB, so you're going to go ride MIB now. Are they going to force you to do rides?
I don't know.
How long are the ride waits usually during Horror Nights?
On a normal night, usually no more than like 20 minutes. Okay. Usually like Men in Black's a walk on. Usually they're short.
I think it's more concerning for the houses because they'll at least know how to spread out people in the rides till then. But by the houses, I can't wait to be there on opening night because I either want to see this thing do really well or fall flat on its face.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to see it fall flat on its face.
I don't want to see it either, but I want to be there for no matter.
To be honest, I don't want to see it, but that's my selfish self saying that.
Right. And also, I don't think it's going to let you to do any repeats in the night. Like, Duff, how many times did you do like graveyard games, like 6 times in a row? Like this is really not going to cut down, like really allow you to pick a favorite and do that a bunch of times.
Yeah. Which I think for, again, me and others who go many, many times, if not every night, that's going to be a problem. Personally, obviously, it's not an actual operational issue.
Right.
But like there's a lot of times where I would go and I just want to do 1 or 2 houses throughout the entire night. And you will not be able to do that with this system at all.
No.
And that also leads me to believe that there's no way that they will not offer a frequent fear pass this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the frequent fear pass would really honestly make people really frustrated with this. Like if this is just, hey guys, we're just not able to have a frequent fear pass, but you're in order to go to the event, your 2 nights are going to be curated. I think most people will be frustrated but accept it. But if there is a frequent fear pass and people buy the frequent fear pass and each night of your frequent fear pass is a curated night, I think that's when you're really going to start seeing the frustration from the locals.
That's why
before we get into deeper discussion about ticket options, I do want to say one more thing about Stay and Scream, just to kind of play devil's advocate on why they might not have it. I want to see if you guys have an answer to this, and that if you're doing the virtual queuing and everyone has this stuff selected in advance or it's the Express Pass version, what is the purpose of Stay and Scream?
The clusterfuck in the front of the park, everyone trying to come in at the same time. That would be the purpose, to get some people in the park, so they don't just have to do the security all at once and the gates all at once. That would be the reason.
Nico, anything else, or you think that's pretty much it?
I think that's really. I mean, that's it. Like Stay and Scream. I mean, it's hard to tell here.
I think they still do it, just mainly for that reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope so. Again, just playing devil's advocate. I believe it's going to happen, and I want it to happen. But
it also allows you to
get
start maybe one attraction in faster than those who have not entered the park yet, and or be able to scan into the app. It would incentivize getting there early to Stay and Scream, because you get one curated thing faster.
I mean, and I want it for selfish reasons, because my plan is to go right after work, because it's on my way home. It's literally Universal's literally between my work and my home, so I was gonna stop there, do a couple of houses, and then go home.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be how I spend my fall.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's what I did last year. I got off of work around 10. I went to the park, got there around 11, and from 11 to 1, 2 hours, many nights I would meet up with Duff and we would hit 6 or 7 houses. Duff, didn't we one time get 9 out of the 10?
Yeah, in like 2.5 hours. Yeah. That was amazing. You don't get a lot of HHN nights like that anymore.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, that's the way to do it. And to what Nico said, like that's how what he does is how I HHN. I get there, I stay and scream. I spend too much money at Duff Gardens during that period, and then go out, hit the sprung tent houses. Start my night off right.
Yeah. And then you don't stay all night. You usually head home around 9 or 10? Unless I was meeting up.
Yeah, it depends. Usually I'd head out by like 10. If you were going to meet up with me, then I'd end up staying there a lot longer than I needed to.
All right. Or you get there later.
But anyways, let's get into discussion of what we think the ticket options will be. We've talked a lot about, do we think frequent fear is going to happen, and why we want it, but do we actually think they're going to be available?
I mean, Nico's definitely on the record that he thinks it's going to happen.
Yep. Looks like it's 2 against 1 in this argument.
No, I don't say I don't think they're going to happen. I just don't specifically think your reasoning sways me to think it would happen.
Right.
I think the only reason it would happen is because the people who buy frequent fear usually come to the parks a lot. They buy food, they buy drinks, they buy merchandise. And if you know, one of the biggest revenue factors at Horror Nights is alcohol.
Booze.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm. And the people who are drinking a lot of the booze are the people who are coming every night or once a week, because they aren't rushing house to house trying to get everything done. They have a lot of downtime. They like to grab a beer or a cocktail and just walk through the zones and chat and have a good time.
Yeah, and
You take
unless you
that
haven't,
Yet not only do you lose the actual ticket revenue, which to be fair, more people buying single night tickets is more revenue than more people buying frequent fear. But you're losing a lot of that booze revenue and food revenue and merch revenue.
Also, frequent fear, unless you have an annual pass, does not include parking. So that's additional, $25 right there.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who do that. There's a lot of people who literally only come to Universal during Horror Nights. They just have the frequent fear and they cough up the parking.
Yeah.
Or take an Uber.
Or take an Uber.
Or Lyft, pardon me.
But I think so financially having frequent fear would be important for Universal. And they're going to try to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the app and the way it would work kind of is a deterrent for selling frequent fear. So I'm thinking the exact opposite as you. But I think financially it makes sense to bring it back.
I'm hoping that the app is smart enough to recognize that and will be like, oh, we see you like this one a lot. Well, and then like hopefully like it'll ask you, what do you like best of these three? I mean, this is pure speculation right now about what the app will do. But like if I created an app like this, and if I needed to make this appeal to a lot, especially to annual pass holders, to locals, because I mean, is this a locals event? Because I mean,
yes.
It definitely
I
is
don't want to say
a locals event. 100%.
But it's also
Orlando's by far has the most tourists. Out of all the Horror Nights, it's the only one I'd say is a destination in any way. But a resounding amount of people who go to Horror Nights live within 3 hours of the park. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Which is a huge market because I mean that's Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando. Yeah. Like the whole state of Florida comes to Horror Nights basically. Yeah, exactly. And then even people from Atlanta will take. I mean, that's vacation.
Just the nature of haunts in general. Like there's there's not theme parks the quality of Universal across the country, but there are haunts and decent ones all over the country. They aren't the same level as Horror Nights, but there's some damn good ones in basically every city. So people don't have to travel for a haunt like they would have to just to visit Universal.
So now that Go ahead. I've chewed on this a little bit, and I just thought of this. I know Universal has already announced the dates for Horror Nights, but do you think it's possible that they just do it straight through, like every single day from beginning to the end?
Because that would involve more scare actors because they have to give people their days off.
But they're already asking for less scare actors this time.
I know. They're asking for less scare actors.
Reduced capacity.
That means they're going to hire less scare actors too. Yeah. None of this is definite, obviously. So assuming they are using less scare actors at the event, that means they're not going to bring in the same amount of scare actors they have in the past because they're also going to be looking to save money. While they're investing in these additional special effects, they're saving money on staffing.
That's true.
So I don't think they're going to still hire the same amount of scare actors to go throughout the event. Also, another reason I don't think it would go through, outside of just basic operational needs for the parks, is this is going to be a slower year for Horror Nights than we're accustomed to. And I think there would be some absolutely dead nights where it would not be worth it financially for them to be open.
Okay.
If they did it every single night.
Because right now we're seeing that it's not busy at all. But
these parks are empty right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Any more things to say?
Besides really wanting frequent fear to happen, I mean, I guess I really want it to happen. That's why I think it will happen. I guess that's me positively thinking.
I mean, I think we
this.
all want frequent fear to happen.
We all want it. We all want it. I
am-
can't imagine if I only got to go. I mean, so I do the BOGO, obviously. So that's 2 nights, and I
when we
wouldn't be
do
able
the
to not
first 2
buy.
nights. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to not to buy, at least a couple more nights. That's dropping a lot of money just to go a few nights. That's insane compared to what I've done in the past.
And a lot of people probably won't do that. A lot of people who will buy the frequent fear pass probably won't do that. They'll probably buy the 2-night ticket, and then that'll be it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I think frequent fear guarantees a lot more locals buying the tickets, and then also gets you more in-park spending. For absolutely more in-park spending. I mean, I don't know how that could be argued. If you get the locals coming in multiple times a week, buying beers and cocktails and food,
Right. Now, if they have the limited,
if you don't have frequent fear.
If they have a limited capacity and they reach that capacity every night with just the amount of the regular tickets, then they don't really need that spending. You know what I mean? Like, people are still going to buy those things.
The problem is they don't know how that's going to happen in advance. They don't know if it's going to fill. And I think that's another tough thing about frequent fear is if it's going to be such a limited capacity, how do you limit frequent fears?
The SeaWorld and Busch Gardens method.
Which is?
A reserve before you go. Just like what Disney's doing.
Yeah.
Reserve.
That's going to be a big part of it. You're going to have to reserve the day.
So see, if you buy a frequent fear pass, how annoying is that?
Do you think this will only be an issue for Friday and Saturday nights?
I mean, it's hard to say.
I mean, to be honest, if you want to hear my actual prediction, I don't think with limited, I'd say by September we're looking at probably at least half capacity, maybe a little bit more in the parks. I don't think we're filling that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think there's going to be this rebound that some people think there's going to be, where everyone suddenly wants to come to theme parks months after all of this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think you were asking if this is a locals event. I think HHN30 is going to be almost purely a locals event.
Only locals. Yeah.
I think there will be people traveling, but percentage is way down. I think the vast majority will be locals in that park during horror nights.
So do we think that the app may only be active certain nights?
That'd be
nights
nice.
You need it. That would be
if you
great,
only did it nights you need it, that'd be awesome.
Now we're cooking with oil. Yeah, because it's Friday and Saturdays that are the big nights, right?
Correct. Yes.
And frequent fear, one of the tiers doesn't include Friday, Saturdays, right? It's just
Yeah, so you have frequent fears that don't include Friday, Saturday, and then you have one that doesn't include Saturdays.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're still helping those issues by having the tickets they've had available for the past several years. It still sounds like it would work to what they're planning to do. Again, that's just what I think. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people coming to the parks. I don't know what Universal's research is telling them they'll get. But I think if you're looking at how the parks are going right now and the attendance is, they're probably going to realize that horror nights won't be too crazy either.
So maybe they don't need to implement any of this. Maybe it'll just be kind of the normal, queues and just have 6 feet apart.
And 6 feet apart. Yeah,
exactly.
It's very possible. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be busy at all. I think you might get a couple nights where you're like, oh, it's pretty busy in here, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot can change within the next couple of months.
It really depends how things go. And it's going to depend on, honestly, how the parks treat it. If the parks start acting like this isn't a big deal and start getting lax on social distancing and masks, then maybe people will think it's safer and come back.
Mm-hmm.
If they keep all this intact, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to go to horror nights, wear a mask, and do all this virtual queue shit.
I can't wear a mask to see people wear masks.
Yeah, exactly. I think no matter what in September, we're wearing masks in the park. And I think that's a deterrent for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to spend all that money to bring their family down here to wear masks all day, every day in the heat.
Does anyone know if the international travel advisories and bans have been lifted yet? Do we think they'll be lifted by September? Because I know a lot of Horror Night fans do come internationally. The ones who do travel from a long distance.
I think we might see some lifted. I think a lot of countries will still be unable to travel to and from.
Right. So there's a good chance that our friends from the UK might not even be able to go this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sorry to about a quarter of our listenership right now,
right?
But
I really hope not.
That is you. I mean, they talk about it. It's definitely a possibility. That's a very large market for Horror Nights.
It's huge.
People will flock from the UK to Horror Nights.
Yeah.
I mean, right there, that knocks down the attendance a lot. So, I mean, I hope they can come. I want to see all of our friends from across the pond be able to come and enjoy HHN30. But I don't know. It's very possible that it's not going to happen.
With how our government really wants to get the country back open, whether it's the right idea or not, I think to boost our economy, they will open this up.
Okay, but
a lot sooner.
But will their respective countries allow them to travel here? Is another part of the equation.
The United Kingdom, I think, would be the one.
The UK, yeah, first. I could see that. Yes,
but we're talking. It's 90 days away at this point. I don't see how all this kind of comes together. We're as time of recording, this is June 9th. Isn't this happening September 10th?
Correct. Also,
that's 90 days.
Happy Bill and Ted Day, guys.
What?
No. Happy Bill and Ted Day, guys.
Happy Bill and Ted Day.
That did happen.
Anyways, yeah. That's coming up quick. It's crazy how fast it's moved, especially through the quarantine and all. We're 3 months away from the start of the event, and they're going to have a lot of this figured out, before the event starts. We can't get to the event the day it starts and figure all this out. It has to be decided in advance. So at some point, they're going to have to decide what they think things are going to look like and make their final decisions.
We'll see. Like I said, I don't think we'll be seeing folks from Brazil, but I do believe the UK. I mean, this is me being, I don't want to say optimistic, because I personally believe that this is the park shouldn't be open at all. This shouldn't be happening right now, especially just because of the virus has not gone away. The curve has not been flattened, but I mean, that's not here or there. But I do believe
it's getting worse, to be honest with you.
The respective countries of the United Kingdom and the United States, due to their special relationship and due to the leadership that is involved with both of them, they care a little bit more about dollars than they do people. They'll probably open it up, which is...
But will they open it up in time? Again, we're still only 3 months out. In the grand scheme of things, that's not very long.
And they have to figure it out before they get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people plan these vacations 6 months, 9 months out. Are they going to just drop it and be like, oh, okay, I can apply for, vacation for work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're getting to the point, too, where we're looking, especially international guests, saying, I have this booked, and if I don't have anything concrete soon, I'm going to have to cancel.
I've seen that tons of times. People are already canceling.
I mean, even if things do end up getting opened, it's not happening now.
If
it doesn't happen soon, a lot of people are going to cancel.
I think Virgin Atlantic to resume flights to the U.S. and Asia next month, that would put us at July. So Virgin Atlantic to resume passenger flights from the UK in July.
I assume
the respective countries allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Which the United States will.
Agreed. But again,
and the state of Florida will as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nope, they've already said they'll be flying from Heathrow to Orlando, New York, LA, Hong Kong, and Shanghai from the 20th of July. That is what Virgin Atlantic has said.
They're going to run the flights, correct. But is it definite that any old resident of the UK will be allowed to fly here? Is there any announcement on that? Or do you have to have there's special cases where you're allowed to travel currently? That could be Virgin being hopeful and saying, hey, we're going to run these flights. I don't know if you're going to be able to hop on it, but they'll be running.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, Virgin can say whatever they want and schedule whatever they want. But if there's travel bans, there's travel bans.
that's true. But I mean, this is also a large corporation putting pressure on
understand.
the federal governments of both, the United Kingdom and the United States.
Mhm.
And they're like, hey, we are going to open these flights back up. Like, hey, we have this plan in place. Come on, do that. Which is irresponsible, I will admit. But for selfish reasons, I want this to happen because, we just have so many people from the United Kingdom that love coming over here.
Absolutely.
And it's not even really for the financial impact to Orlando, which, I mean, would be great. I would love to have money come back to Orlando, please. I mean, I don't want my city to suffer, but at the same time, like, I don't want its citizens to suffer either. So it's a really weird place to be being a theme park fan right now. Like, I haven't even gone back to the parks. I thought I was going to be there day one, but I can't muster up to go.
So the parks reopened while we were kind of on our break. So we haven't really discussed a lot of the things that they're doing in the parks. But one of the things they are doing is that all the character meet and greets are happening kind of like from a far distance, which makes me think if that's still going on in the parks during the day, there's not going to be characters in the streets. Right?
I think it'll be Hillbilly Deluxe.
Okay.
And the stages.
Or
basically.
like Seven, like the stages.
Seven. Yeah. I mean, okay, there's a lot of examples.
Exactly.
And the stilt walkers, because they'll be farther away from the actual.
Yeah, they're using stilt walkers right now, actually. So
are they?
Yeah. Don't, if it's like it is now, don't expect scare actors to be in the street with you, but more on stages, like they're doing in the parks currently.
Which little mini pop-up shows.
It's better than no scare zone at all. So
has Universal found out a way to inject sanitizer into the fog?
Well, we should talk about that. Because one of the things that they are doing in the park is they are no water or mist effects, and that would mean no fog if that's still happening.
I know this is one thing we did get to talk about. We heard about the no water effects, and we brought up the fact that could be no fog. I don't know if any of us had actual predictions on it. I kind of do now, and I think I don't. If that's still in place, obviously things could change. Then there's not going to be fog.
There's not going to be fog. No, absolutely not.
It is a mist effect. You could say.
True, but they're running Dudley Do-Rights. They're running Bluto.
Correct.
That shows me that they're.
What does that have to do with fog being shot throughout the street?
But the fog,
they're not using mist effects
for scares too, and if there's no characters in the street, then there's really no need for the fog. I mean, I know it sets the mood and the tone, but a lot of the fog helps with not being able to see the characters come as well.
Could the fog be used on the stages, possibly?
Probably not, because then it would
enough to veil the stage.
I think they would cut no fog at all. Because I think if they're not going to, because they wouldn't want it to be on the stage and then, go into this character's face and then go into the guest face.
The CDC and the WHO need to start doing fog research ASAP. we need to figure this out. Universal has donated like $1 million to fog research. Come on, it's got to be good, right? Six Flags is going to have fog at their right fear.
Well, that's the only thing that makes it scary there, right?
Well, I mean, the parks are scary enough as they are.
Is this ride going to fall on me? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, if there's no fog, that'd be kind of sad. That'd be very sad, actually. Yeah. Like Horror Nights without fog.
I don't think we'll get the Horror Nights smell this year either. Because it's just going to smell like sanitizer.
Yeah.
And Lysol.
It smells like sanitizer and Twisted Taters.
Pine Sol.
Sweaty face masks.
Actually, yeah, the only thing you're going to smell is your own sweat.
Right? You're not going to smell anything.
Sweat.
Well, it's all complaining and jokes aside, we do want this event to happen. So I think, honestly, if all these things do end up happening, it's better than no event at all, at least in my opinion, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and especially there were versions of the event people talked about where I was like, honestly, I'd rather not have the event at all. This is not one of those. This is an acceptable and would be a fun version of HHN30 that I would happily accept.
Right. Again, this is all rumors. It's all speculation based on kind of this one article by Theme Park University, and then some of the other things we've thrown in and out.
Who are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
We should mention that a lot of this is being, I don't want to say confirmed, but there's insiders agreeing with a lot of it, but saying portions of this, including the whole kind of curating your day thing, might not be accurate. So, again, rumors, grain of salt.
I do have to say that some of the nomenclature that he uses in quotes doesn't quite ring true. I don't know. It does. Maybe there's a theme to this year that we just don't know about, but it doesn't quite sound like nomenclature that HHN 30 would use. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I am.
And he also seems very confident that Beetlejuice is a thing.
Yeah, I think most people are at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who he is.
But yeah, again, I don't necessarily think that all of these will be in place either. I think some of these things probably correct. Some of them might be on the right path. Some of them absolutely not true. But again, that's all to be seen. It's rumors. It's speculation. And honestly, guys, we shouldn't be too far off from announcements directly from Universal.
Yeah.
Yep, 90 days out.
And when we do, we will definitely get a show out as soon as we can to talk about it.
Should we quickly discuss the one question that's going around?
Sure.
Are they going to do normal announcements, or are they going to do a one big announcement dump of everything since we're so close?
Dump.
It's hard to say. I think if they're going to start announcing it little by little, it's going to have to start soon. And I know that they were kind of waiting to see how this rollout would go. So if they are going to start breadcrumbing it, it's going to start soon.
Yeah.
Or we could just see one big announcement August 1st or, late July.
So I'm somewhere in the middle of the announcements we've come used to, the one at a time, and the, mass dump. And I think it's going to be what we've seen in the past is that, maybe like originals all get announced on one day, and then the big IPs get their own announcement, and the others are thrown together. So not everything gets its own announcement, but not everything all at once either, because there's still the marketing aspect where you want to drop this big IP and get people to buy tickets for that. Oh, we got another big IP. People are buying tickets for that separately. That's still a big part of it, selling tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
So I guess we have a voicemail topic this week, and that's what do you think about this version of Horror Nights? Do you think it'll happen like this? Do you want it to happen like this? Would you go if it happened like this? If you want to talk about it, leave us a voicemail at 407-906-3405.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we talked about that a lot longer than I think we planned on it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it's fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's a lot of things to kind of chew the fat on and really figure out in this article. So I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week. If you do listen to Helping Haunts, you would probably have heard that we do have an episode about the icons that we have previously recorded. We did hold out and not release that episode just because we wanted to. A lot of the podcasts were in solidarity for the Black Lives Matter, just only discussing Black Lives Matter up until the 7th, and we decided to we wanted to do that. But so that episode should be coming next week, unless we start getting announcements. Then we will push that back episode again. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the streets.